Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here as ever as we start cracking on with the long and arduous process of trying to get a workshop, a blank slate, into something good. So, we've got a lot to do. We've got a huge amount to do. I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Audible, before we jump in. Audible is how I love listening to audiobooks while I'm on the go, while I'm working, and this Christmas season, Audible has a special offer, which is you can get 3 months for just $6.95 a month, and when you hit my link in the description, audible.com/forge, or text FORGE to 500-500, you'll get 30-day free trial, 3 months of Audible for $6.95, 2 free Audible originals from a curated list. It's a hell of a deal. Be sure to click that link. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode. Thank you guys for being here. Let's jump right in. I think Will's going to throw some shelves up. I've got to do some computer stuff, and then I'll be back in doing some more stuff in just a sec. With the shelf up, it is time to move on to compressed air. Something that I've never had before in a workshop has been a good compressed air setup. In my old workshop, I had a tiny air compressor that would end up getting set off after about 2 seconds of using it to blow down a part, just because it had such a tiny tank. It was just loud and obnoxious, and I had it only in one place with only one attachment on there. And so I was never able to make the most of compressed air. So what I've always wanted is I've always wanted a decent sized compressor, and I've always wanted to be able to have many parts of the workshop be ready to use air. There are air tools that you can use. There's blowing stuff down with air. There's so many options and so many uses for having compressed air in the shop. You've seen, of course, we bought the compressor. It's up in the mezzanine, and we have just spent the morning feeling very stupid because we have no idea how it is that we're going to set up this compressed air system. We didn't know if we were going to do, like a quick and dirty method of just running hoses down. We didn't know if we were going to pipe it in. We had no clue what to do. Fortunately, our friend Heil came by, and he was like, hey, here's what you need to do. You need to get yourself some black iron pipe, get some elbows, boom, 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 boom. And that's how you should set up your shop. Black iron pipe, some elbows, rent a pipe threader. That is what should be done, and so that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna nip to Ace Hardware, grab ourselves some supplies, come back, and start plumbing out this shop for a hard line, awesome compressed air setup. We're back from the hardware store. We have a ton of stuff, a ton of pipe. They were seriously helpful. They got us completely set up with everything we needed, and now it is time to start becoming plumbers. Okay, so we have the pipe running down here, we have it poking into the grinding room, we got some coming out, coming over. It's time to do the rest of the shop. So we're getting close to having a hell of an awesome compressed air setup. It hardlines down from up on the mezzanine, down, around. We have a ball valve right here that can either be used as another outlet, but the main use of it is to help collect some water, even though we do have a water trap up at the compressor. Back to that in a sec. The line comes all the way out, down this wall, and that needs some twisting, but we have a T right here that we're gonna have a ball valve on and a quick disconnect on. Got a union here just to help if ever we need to change something up. And every 10 feet or so, we have a T, this one is also twisted, that is going to have that quick disconnect on it. We got another one right here, we got another one down there.
And then we're gonna come around the corner there so we can, blow stuff off in the driveway out there. We'll have a hose like right next to the garage door, so
maybe on a reel.
Exactly. Fill up the tires, whatever. Good stuff.
This is gonna be an incredible setup. We're gonna have air everywhere we need it. We can have air coming into the hydraulic press. We can have ourselves up a little blow gun. I think that's what this is for, to blow off scale off the dies. We could even set one of those up there on the Anyang. Have you seen Ethan's?
Yeah.
Ethan Harty has one of those set up on his hammer.
Yeah.
When you're forging, of course, you make iron oxide, the scale, and that kind of gets on your dies, and sometimes you want to get rid of it. So people will do, especially in industry, is they'll have an air jet pointed at their dies so they can blow it off of there. These are the quick disconnects that we're going to be using, so these will plug up. Oh look, we have an example. This is how the bottom of each union is going to be. Ball valve, this is going to be the flow position, this is going to be the off position, just so that this way, you know, if anything was to ever knock it, it would be turning it off as opposed to turning it on. Then we're going to have a quick disconnect here. It's going to be super duper. It is going to be super duper handy because we can have a hose right here. This is going to be our machining area, and it's just going to be beautifully set up for air. On into the grinding room, talk about the plans of what we're going to do here. Of course, we have pipe running up to there. Got a union here so we could take it off without messing with the other stuff if we wanted to. We're going to come across. We're going to come down here, have a quick disconnect right there. We're going to come all the way across the rest of the grinding room and have another quick disconnect right here. This is going to be the most aerated shop ever. It's difficult to aerate a shop when you're at 4,000 feet too, because there's not a lot of oxygen up here, so it makes it a little more... Anyway, the next awesome thing is we're starting to get the stuff set up on the compressor. The key things are, we're gonna have a regulator, we're then gonna have a water trap, that kind of fun stuff, filter out the water before we go down to the bottom of the shop. This is just temporary like this to give us an idea of the exact pieces and fittings that we need to buy on our next errand run so that we can get these pieces a little closer to the compressor, so that's a little bit safer. It has been a really fun time playing plumber for a little while. How have you been enjoying it, Will?
I think it's a blast.
Now this here is the pipe cutter that we rented yesterday. Now, the way this works blows my mind. This is completely mind-blowing to me. When I saw this work for the first time yesterday... What was my reaction? That was exactly my reaction. It was pretty incredible. There's a blade right here. There are two wheels right here. Then a fine-pitched thread here. A handle right over there. You give it a little twist, and then you spin it around. With every turn, you turn the handle. A revolution, you do another turn. Turn the handle, you do another turn. This is crazy. This is crazy. We're not, I mean, this is unbelievable. How many turns is that? 3 turns? And here, I bet it's gonna go now. Oh my goodness. That is the cut that happened in 4 turns of that pipe cutter. That just blows my mind.
Now we're gonna use the other fun tool.
This is the pipe threader, and this is how we cut the threads. Here from one end you can see that it's just a die. It's a normal die for threading anything, but of course these are NPT threads, I guess, which are tapered. You insert it onto the material this way, and it ratchets, and you can change the direction using this.
Gotta get you some cutting oil in there.
Help lubricate the cut, make the tool last longer, make it cut easier. That goes on the pipe like this, and then you start putting pressure in, and then ratcheting it on. This is a big thread to cut. This is amazing. It's just like using any die in a normal kind of tap and die set, except much larger, and it's a tapered thread. Of course, every few pulls on it, you want to back it off, break the chip, just like threading anything. But it just blows my mind that we're able to hand cut a thread that is so large. And they make dies for this exact threader. The little thread inch pipe if you want it to. Back over here at the threader, now that he's got a sufficiently large chip built up, he turns it around, unwinds it to break the chip free before continuing on. I mean, this is just a beautiful piece of technology. This is seriously cool. Takes a little bit of time, but it has been a fun introduction to plumbing, really for the first time ever for me. It's not easy, takes time. You know, it takes a lot of thinking and kind of 3D planning in your head. But we're having fun. This is gonna be a piece for the grinding room, right?
Yep, piece gonna come off the pipe that's already on there. And it's gonna split off in a T and come down to our first quick disconnect, basically on the other side of the wall from that one over there. This is gonna be super, super awesome. We're gonna do some more work, time lapse it on a bit, and I'm gonna jump back in just a second. Here we go! It's at 150 PSI! Here we go! Uh-oh. Is that leaking air here? It's leaking air right here on this regulator. Oh. Is that meant to happen? So that's not good.
I don't think that's meant to be in 2 pieces. So it was leaking right in here. Is it still leaking?
Yeah, it's still leaking. It's still leaking a lot, Will.
So it's leaking, which isn't good, but
The system certainly pressurizes. Woo! There is a lot of air in those pipes.
so I'm gonna Google the problem. I'm gonna see what Google has to say about a leaky regulator. You get it to work?
No.
I have no idea how to make it work. What they'll do is they'll release pressure if the pressure downstream is higher than the thing is set to. So if it's set at 3 psi, it's going to release the pressure that's in front of it that isn't 3 psi. The question is how we get it to the setting where it's like 100 psi.
What's going on, Will?
I think we need a new regulator at this point. Something definitely flew downstairs.
I think that was probably the seal.
Why is this not in there, Will? Why is there not the spring in there?
Obviously we don't need it. So I had this thing most of the way unscrewed and I turned on the pressure and it shot itself very fast and it hit me right here pretty dang hard. I think I'm gonna have a welt there in the morning.
Okay, I think we need to buy another regulator.
Plug your ears, kids.
Wait, no, oh, my ears!
How does a trip to Ace sound to you?
It's time to go to the helpful place with the helpful hardware
People.
folks. And we're back at the workshop. New regulator and filter in hand. Time to completely redo all of the plumbing that we just did. So we need to take these here and slap them up here. We gotta take all of that out. Thank goodness I put a union here. We're gonna undo this, undo that, and replace these. Hopefully that'll all fix itself. Okay, that really didn't take too much time to get it set up with the new, slightly higher quality filter and the regulator. And I put the filter first because on a forum post I was looking at just earlier, it did say filter first, then the regulator. Now is the moment of truth. Right, so let's give her a go. My air leak was coming from the pipe, but now it's gone. What?
That was fully pressurized.
That was literally 20 psi. Now, what's good is this works, the regulator works, which is very good. We're at 40 psi now. It's leaking everywhere. I hear hisses everywhere in the workshop. Okay, we got a leak over here. This is leaking right here. We got a leak on this one here. So the leaking isn't a good thing, considering it's a system that you would want not to leak compressed air. Better when it doesn't leak, but overall, the basis of what it is that we need is here, which means that we can work on fixing that. In another episode, it's way too late. You know, we've even incorporated a drop for the line so that we can make sure that water is dropping on down and can be dumped over here, for example. Tried to make this a good thing with a little bit of tweaking. Hopefully it will be. As we round off the video, I want to thank today's sponsor, which has been Audible. Audible is an online provider of audiobooks that I absolutely love. Audiobooks are one of my favorite ways of consuming content alongside podcasts and then alongside YouTube. And I love what it is that I can learn. I love what it is that I can experience. And I love how it is that I can be entertained through audiobooks while it is that I'm on the go. They make driving on the commute to work a breeze and makes working in the workshop when you don't need 100% concentration on what it is that you're doing that much more enjoyable, because you can learn, you can get educated, you can listen to a captivating story on Audible. When you're an Audible member, you get 1 credit per month. It entitles you to 1 audiobook regardless of the price. My 2 recommendations for today are the following. I recently finished The Chimp Paradox. This was a fantastic book. It's about the hypothesis that our brain is very much split up into several parts, and there is the chimp-like brain that'll respond irrationally, and then there is the person-like brain that will respond rationally. Super fascinating. And the next book is, of course, the new book by Jocko Willink, The Dichotomy of Leadership. I am just a couple of hours into this. I'm loving it so far. Very important, especially as it is that I am here trying to grow this company and bring more people on, all sorts of things that I need to learn. So you can sign up for Audible at audible.com/Forge, or you can text Forge to 500 500 to get yourself a 30-day free trial, a free audiobook, and 2 free Audible originals, which is an unbeatable deal. What's more unbeatable is you can get 3 months of Audible now for just $6.95 a month. It's a special offer they're running in December, so check it out. Use my link in the description or text Forge to 500 500. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring the video. Thank you guys for being here. Cannot wait to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.